All right. Well, we'll see. It's 12:01. I just want to give us enough time. So, okay. Welcome everyone. It's Thursday. So Thankfulness Thursday. Today we'll practice gratitude and activate um, the parts of our brain that give us the subjective experience of gratitude. And I think this is one of these foundational skills that really falls into this category of activating temporary states, right? So we're intentionally going to activate the state of gratitude. And the more we do that, the more over time it becomes what we would call a permanent trait, right? The structure and function of our brain begins to orient itself more towards this experience. So gratitude is a perfect example of this feature. So what is gratitude? Again, I really want to emphasize here, gratitude is an embodied experience. Yes, there's an intellectual part to it, right? Where we can make a list, or we need to activate maybe a memory of someone, or we need to be present for the experience. But the key goal here, we really know we're experiencing gratitude is when we feel it in our body. And it accompanies this self-awareness that something good has happened. We're the beneficiaries of something happened. And either because someone did something or life just dished something positive out to us. And a really key aspect of gratitude is this idea that we are the beneficiary through no doing of our own. It's truly a gift. And the more we can orient towards the sensory embodied experience of what it's like to notice that, wow, I just am the recipient of this person doing this thing for me, or the circumstance or the weather or whatever it might be, and I had nothing to do with it, but I'm aware that it's happening to me. That is really the, sort of the embodied subjective experience of gratitude that we're going for, because then we really know that all of the neurology between our ears is firing in the way that we want. And so I have a few tips here, or tricks that I'm going to use today to guide you through how to access gratitude. Oftentimes when I ask people about their gratitude practice, it involves sitting down, just making a list of people. That's a good start, but I think we can go deeper. The first one is simply to appreciate the goodness of whatever's happening, right? Whatever the experience is just to really focus on the good things that are happening to me because of this person or this thing or this situation and really get in touch with what those are. Then the kind of the inverse of that is to imagine your life without this person or without this moment. It's possible that life could have gone in a very different direction, and this good thing that you're now benefiting from, wasn't happening. So what would it be like to not have this person or this thing happen? And that can elicit this sensory experience. And the last one is try to remember the last time you had a positive experience with whatever it is that we're connecting with. And what I mean with that is, for example, being a dad. I was thinking the other day, when was the last time, or do I remember the last time when my kids were young, you get up in the middle of the night, and in those moments there would admittedly be a little bit of drudgery and tiredness, and it's like 2 a.m. I really just want to sleep, and there's a little bit of an sort of an air of like, oh, this is a hassle. And now, being at my age, trying to think back to when was the last time I bottle fed my daughter or changed my son's diaper, and I honestly can't remember. I don't know when the last time was, but the truth is there's a last time for everything in our life. And when you start thinking back and try to imagine, when was the last time that thing happened and how present was I for that happening, there's a sweetness that can come up for that. And it can elicit a sense of gratitude as well. So I'm going to try to, sort of walk us through a bit of a guided meditation here for these, for some things here. And so, yeah, so let's start with closing your eyes. And as always, drop into the present moment, right here, right now. You're sitting in a chair. Maybe your hands are on your lap, your feet are flat on the ground. And just notice the simplicity of what's happening right now. So one of my mentors always said, anything beyond just noticing that you're sitting, standing, or laying down is just a story. It's just a narrative. So just notice right now you're sitting down, body's breathing. We're going to spend the next few minutes intentionally activating this part of us ourselves that can experience gratitude, knowing that the more we do that, the easier it becomes for us to feel gratitude. And that is a really sweet thing to do for ourselves. I'm going to ask you to think of certain things or just sequentially. And if you want, you can even write them down so that you remember them afterwards. But let's start by thinking of a person in your life whom you really appreciate. Someone that is kind to you, someone that supports you, someone that sees you, treats you well. And let's start by focusing on the goodness part of it. What is the goodness that they are bringing to your life? Just notice what it's like to be on the receiving end of existing with them or being the beneficiary of what they do for you. And I want you to imagine not having them in your life. So, loss, what would it be like if they weren't in your life? And notice what you would be missing or losing. And that can amplify gratitude for their existence and them being in your life. Now, I want you to try the thought experiment of realizing that there will be a last time when you see this person. And see if you can sort of transport yourself there. Imagine you had the awareness in this moment that this was the last time you're going to see this person, and notice what comes up for you. There's the sweetness of that moment of realizing that this you've been the beneficiary of having this beautiful person in your life. And now shift gears, and I want you to think of a physical object, a material possession that you have that means a lot to you. And again, let's start by focusing on the goodness that it brings to your life. It's a musical instrument or your cell phone, your car. Like, why is this material possession important to you? How do you benefit from it? What would your life be like without it? Imagine your life right now without this object. And what would you be missing? Again, just feeling into the sweetness of the fact that you actually have it. And now shifting your attention to an activity that you really enjoy, a physical activity or an intellectual activity, a hobby of sorts. And starting off again with just really appreciating the goodness and the wonderful aspects this activity adds to your life. Really feeling into that. Now imagining what your life would be like if you couldn't do that activity anymore. feeling into the loss of that and noticing there's a sweetness to being able to feel into the importance of this activity, and not being able to engage in it would be lost there. So you can appreciate this activity even more. And then maybe ask yourself, when was the last time I did this activity? What would it be like for me to know in that moment that this was the very last time that I was that I got to do this? And notice what comes up. And now think of a place in nature or some outdoor area. Could be your backyard or garden, or maybe your favorite hike, maybe your favorite view. And again, just taking in the specialness and the goodness. What's it like for you to appreciate that you get to experience that? What would it be like to lose that? Next, let's move on to a food you like to eat. Maybe you have a certain favorite kind of dish. Just appreciating what it's like to have a favorite meal or a dish or a fruit that you like to eat. And imagine yourself eating it and really appreciating how much you enjoy it. And now imagine your life without this food. What would that be like? And last but certainly not least on this list is a quality or a characteristic about yourself that you really appreciate. Let's start by really dropping into the goodness and the sweetness of noticing that this is a part of your being, your character, your body, whatever it is that you're choosing. Noticing the luck of having this quality or this characteristic. And now imagining your life without this quality or characteristic. How would your life be different if you did not possess this or weren't blessed in that way? And then go ahead, take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, open your eyes, and you can see the list that's on the screen. And keep in mind, again, this is one of these practices you can do on your own 10 times a day if you want. You can also do it in the present moment, right? Whenever you're having an actual experience, if you have the self-awareness to be able to have that experience and ask yourself, wow, how am I benefiting from this? How cool, how lucky that this is happening to me. And then the thought experiment of, gosh, what would it be like if this wasn't happening to me right now? How would this moment be different? And then I think it's just a really good exercise to ask yourself, when was the last time that I had these experiences, either with a, you know, when I met this person or I ate this food, and ask yourself, maybe it stimulates you to reach out and either meet that person, go to that place, engage in that activity, like really appreciate knowing that if you didn't have it, your life would feel very different. So I hope this was helpful. This is one of many ways to practice gratitude. Yeah, that concludes this session. I will be here for if anyone wants to chat or have Q&A. I'll stick around for a few more minutes. Otherwise, I'll be here tomorrow at noon, and yeah, we'll do another activity before the weekend. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oli.
Take care. My pleasure.
Thank you.